Welcome students. Today we will start subject history standard 7th. Chapter number 7, the administration of the Swaraj. So let's start to this chapter. Shivaji Maharaj founded Swaraj. He had himself crowned. After the coronation, Maharaj accomplished Dakshin Digvijay, the conquest of the south. The Swaraj expanded, comprising large areas of Nashik, Pune, Satara, Sangli, Kolhapur, Sindhudurg, Ratnagiri, Raigad and Thane districts of Maharashtra. It also includes parts Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu states. To ensure the smooth management of the affairs of the Swaraj and to ensure people's welfare, Shivaji Maharaj set up an efficient administration. We shall get some information about it in this chapter. Now let's start with our first point of this chapter. Ashtapradhan Mandal means Council of 8 Ministers. Okay. In that mandal, 8 ministers were there. So it becomes Ashtapradhan Mandal. At the time of his coronation, Shivaji Maharaj appointed a council of 8 ministers. The administration was divided into 8 departments. A head was appointed for each department. These 8 heads of department constituted the Ashtapradhan Mandal. Maharaj alone had the power to appoint a minister or to remove him from his position. The ministers were answerable to Maharaj for the administration of their respective departments. Shivaji Maharaj selected the council on the basis of their merit and achievements. He did not give them jagirs, watans or gifts or fiefs. They were paid handsome salaries instead. Now let's see more about Ashtapradhan. Okay, it is literally modern council of ministers. In modern words, in modern language, council of ministers. It was a system of ministerial delegation in Maratha Empire. The council is credited with having implemented good governance practices in the Maratha heartland, as well as for the success of military campaigns against the Mughal Empire. The coronation of Chhatrapati Shivaji was held in 1674 at the fort of Raigad in present-day Indian state of Maharashtra that we have known. On that occasion, Shivaji formalized the institution of a council of 8 ministers to guide the administration of his nascent state. This council came to be known as Ashtapradhan. Okay, so each of the ministers was placed in charge of an administrative department. Thus, the council heralded the birth of a bureaucracy. The formalization of an administrative mechanism was of a piece with other measures, indicative of the formalization of a sovereign state, which were implemented on the occasion of Shivaji's coronation. Coinage bearing his insignia, means the copper shivrai and the gold horn, were issued, and new era, the Rajyabhishek era, was proclaimed on the occasion. Okay, now let's see the table of Ashtapradhan Mandal of Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, so now you can see in this table name of the minister which they had appointed, their designations and their work. Okay, so first was the Moro Trimbak Pingre. He was the Pradhan and his work was like running the administration and making arrangements for the conquered territories. Second minister was Ramachandra Nilkantha Muzumdar. His designation was Amatya. His work was keeping the accounts of the state. Third minister was Annaji Datto. He was Sachiv and he used to prepare royal edicts. Fourth minister was Dattaji Trimbak Vaknis. He was a minister and his work was correspondence. Fifth minister was Hambir Rao Mohite. He was Senapati and his work was organization of the army and protection of the kingdom. Sixth minister was Ramachandra Trimbak Dabir. He was Sumant and his work was foreign relations. Seventh minister was Niraji Ravji and his designation was Nyayadhish and his work was dispensing justice. And last minister was Moreshwar Pandit Rao. He was a Pandit Rao and his work was looking after religious matters. Now let's see. Ashtapradhan was designed to encompass all the primary administrative functions of the state, with each minister being given charge of one role in the administration. Ministerial designations were drawn from the Sanskrit language. The 8 ministerial roles were as follows. First was like Peshwa, means Pantapradhan, means today's Prime Minister, general administration of the empire. Correct? No. Moropan Trimbak Pingre was the first Peshwa appointed by the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Now next is Amatya, means finance minister, managing accounts of the empire. Correct? So in 1674 at the coronation ceremony, the post Muzumdar was renamed as Amatya and the title was solely bestowed Ramachandra Pant Amatya. Next was Sachiv, means secretary, preparing royal edicts. In 1662, Annaji Datto was appointed as Sachiv. Next is Mantri, Interior Minister, managing internal affairs, especially intelligence. Correct? So, Dattaji Trimbak Vaknis was appointed as Mantri. Okay. Next is Sir Noilbat. Okay, Sir Nobat or Senapati, means Commander in Chief, managing the forces and defense of the empire. Netaji Palkar was appointed as the first Senapati. Most famous Senapati one in that era was Hambir Rao Mohite. Next is Sumanta, Foreign Minister, to manage relationship with other sovereigns. First, Dubir was Sonopanta Vishwanath Dubir, who was sent by Shahaji to help Shivaji and Jizabai in Pune region. After Sonopant, his son Trimbak Sono Dubir was appointed as Dubir, and after him his son Ramachandra Trimbak Dubir was appointed as Dubir in Shivaji's Ashtapradhan Mandal. When Shivaji donated the gold equal to his mother Jizabai's weight, he also donated the gold equal to Sonopant Dubir's weight at Mahabaleshwar. Sonopant Vishwanath Dubir is the only member to have control over two departments, that is Dubir and Surnavis, once upon a time. Now next is Nyadhish, means Chief Justice, dispensing justice on civil and criminal matters. The post of Nyadhish or Chief Justice was bestowed on Nirji Ravji, father of Prahlad Nirji. And last about Pandit Rao, high priest, managing internal religious matters. The duties of the Pandit Rao were to promote learning and in the Ashtapradhan known as Senapati or Sarnobat. He was to watch over the interests of his officers. Raghunath Moreshwar Pandit Rao was given the post Pandit Rao. Next point is the policy regarding agriculture. Agriculture was the main occupation in village. Maharaj knew the importance of agriculture. That was why he paid attention to the welfare of farmers. He entrusted the responsibility of organizing the land revenue system to his capable and experienced office bearer Annaji Dattu. He warned the officers that they should not collect more revenue than the amount that was fixed. He encouraged peasants to bring uncultivated land under cultivation. If the crop was lost due to excessive rains or drought, or if an enemy army had devastated the area of the village, remissions were granted in land revenue and other taxes. Maharaj had instructed his officers to provide peasants with bullocks, ploughs, and good seeds for sowing. Okay, so let's understand more about this. So, this was not the situation in the 17th century when Shivaji Maharaj the Great ruled. In those days, the states had to depend upon their own sources of income. Howsoever, they were limited. Therefore, they had to face a number of difficulties and hurdles. Shivaji Maharaj's states was no exception to it. It was newly born, small state with limited resources. Shivaji Maharaj had to toil and use his skill as an administrator to utilize these available scarce resources for the upliftment of his subjects. He always faces this problem, the problem of resources. He had many ideas in his mind, but he could not embody them due to paucity of funds and revenue. Paucity means smallness of quantity. Okay, so smallness of funds and revenue. Shivaji Maharaj clearly mentioned that to help the farmers with donation of seeds and tax benefit for them in draft condition, and warned his army to not to touch a single plant from farmer's field. Student, in this video we have completed this part. Okay, further part we will see in next module. Thank you.